clapperboard snapped shut, and for a brief moment, the bustling set of NCIS fell silent. Then came the applause, loud, proud, and filled with something deeper than celebration. It was gratitude. 500 episodes. A number that felt almost unreal, even to the people who had lived it. For over 2 decades, NCIS has been more than a procedural drama. It has been a home. And as the cast gathered to commemorate this historic milestone, the question on everyone's mind was simple. Which episodes meant the most to the people who brought them to life? The answers revealed not just favorite storylines, but the heart and soul of a show that has stood the test of time. For Mark Harmon, the beginning will always hold a special place. If I had to choose just one, it's the pilot, he said, leaning back with a reflective smile. We didn't know what this show would become. We just knew we had something good. Yankee White introduced audiences to Gibbs and his team, setting the tone for everything that followed. But behind the scenes, it was a leap of faith. There was a chemistry from day one, Harmon continued. You can't fake that. You either have it or you don't. And we had it. He paused, then added quietly, 500 episodes later, that same chemistry is still there. That's rare. Sean Murray didn't hesitate when naming his favorite. Requiem, no question, he said. That episode changed everything for me. The episode saw McGee stepping into a more mature role while Gibbs confronted painful memories from his past. It was emotional, intense, and deeply personal. I remember filming those scenes with Mark, Murray recalled. There was this unspoken understanding between us. It wasn't just acting, it felt real. For Murray, it marked a turning point, not just for his character, but for himself as an actor. That's when I realized how deep this show could go, he said. It wasn't just about solving cases, it was about people. Wilmer Valderrama joined the show later, but his connection runs just as deep. For me, it's keep your friends close, he said. That episode really explored who Torres is. It was a story of loyalty, betrayal, and the blurred lines in between. Perfect territory for Torres's layered personality. I got to show different sides of him, Valderrama explained. The tough agent, but also the vulnerable guy who's been through a lot. He grinned. Plus, the action scenes were pretty awesome. Katrina Law's favorite came from a moment of vulnerability. The Helpers stands out to me, she said. It wasn't about big explosions or high-stakes drama. It was about compassion. The episode highlighted the emotional toll of the job and the importance of empathy in the face of tragedy. Those are the stories that stay with you, Law said. The ones that remind you why these characters do what they do. She added, it's easy to play strength. It's harder and more meaningful to play humanity. Brian Dietzon's choice was deeply personal. Keep Going was the most challenging episode I've ever done, he admitted, and also the most rewarding. The episode followed Jimmy Palmer trapped in an elevator, grappling with fear, self-doubt, and ultimately resilience. It was just me for most of it, Dietzon said. No big sets, no action, just character. He smiled. It forced me to dig deeper than I ever had before. Fans and critics alike praised the episode, and Dietzon still hears about it years later. That's when you know something really connected, he said. Rocky Carroll chose an episode that showcased leadership under pressure. Enemy on the Hill was a defining moment for Vance, he said. It tested his integrity and his resolve. The episode delved into Vance's past, revealing layers that hadn't been explored before. I love episodes that give you history, Carroll explained. They make the character feel real, he added with a chuckle. Plus, it's always fun to shake things up a bit. As the cast shared their memories, a pattern emerged. Their favorite episodes weren't necessarily the biggest or the flashiest. They were the ones that meant something. Episodes that challenged them, changed them, or brought them closer together. Behind every case solved, every suspect interrogated, and every dramatic twist, there were moments of connection. Moments between actors, moments between characters, moments between the show and its audience. Of course, the cast was quick to point out that NCIS is far more than the faces on screen. This show doesn't work without the crew, Harmon emphasized. The writers, the directors, the camera operators, everyone. Sean Murray nodded in agreement. We've had people here since day one. That kind of loyalty, you don't see it often. Wilmer Valderrama added, it feels like a family because it is a family. And like any family, it has grown, evolved, and adapted over the years, without ever losing its core. 500 episodes is a milestone few shows ever reach, but for NCIS, it's not the end of the story. It just makes you wonder, what's next? Katrina Law said with a smile. Brian Dietzen laughed. Episode 1000? Why not? Rocky Carroll chimed in. Mark Harmon, ever the steady presence, offered a more measured perspective. As long as there are stories to tell, we'll keep telling them, he said. That's what matters. As the celebration wrapped up and the cast returned to set, there was a sense that something special had been acknowledged, but not concluded. Because NCIS isn't just a show about solving crimes. It's about loyalty. It's about resilience. It's about the people who stand by each other no matter what. And after 500 episodes, one thing is clear. Those stories are far from over.